What's up, YouTube? It is your boy Killer Cam, be killing it. Welcome back to the Killer Squad. We got Venom, Let's Be Carnage, and today we got the teaser trailer. Let's go ahead and get right into the video.
Every decision we ever make. Soon come chaos.
Uh-oh. Carnage.
Chaos soon come.
Uh-oh.
Is the loneliest number that you
Let there be carnage.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my new Venom Let There Be Carnage video. Kevin Feige was also recently doing a really big interview talking about crossing Venom over into the MCU, like canonizing Venom to the MCU. So I'll explain what he said, because it's actually pretty cool. A lot of it has to do with what they just did on the Loki series. So if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's a bunch of really cool stuff coming up. And I know everybody's asking about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. I will talk about that too, because everything that Marvel and Sony are doing behind the scenes with their Spider-Man and Venom movies is connected right now. But in the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer, there's a whole bunch of Spider-Man movie references specific to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and we've known for a couple years now, since Marvel and Sony renewed their sharing deal for the Marvel MCU Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland, that they would eventually be doing a crossover movie between Spider-Man and Venom. But right up until Kevin Feige did this brand new interview, there hadn't really been any talk about how they would handle all the Venom stuff in the newer Sony Spider-Man movie characters inside the actual MCU. When that new deal got signed a couple years ago, Kevin Feige just previously commented that Spider-Man would be traveling between universes, sort of tipping his hat to what would be happening with the multiverse that we just saw play out in the Loki series. But Spider-Man would also be traveling between cinematic universes, meaning their plan was to have Tom Holland's Spider-Man show up in a Venom movie that Sony was making on their side of things. Like, it would not be a big MCU production the way that the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies are. And when he was explaining Spider-Man hopping cinematic universes, he really didn't mention the words Venom, Morbius, or anything like that, implying that he didn't have any immediate plans to canonize Venom to the MCU or any of those other characters by having them show up in a Marvel-made movie with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But all that talk was happening before they had started filming No Way Home, before we learned about any of the Spider-Verse, multiverse elements, and before the Loki series completely upended the MCU multiverse like we saw in the Loki finale. So I should also say careful for spoilers from the Loki finale. I'm assuming most of you have seen it by now. But recently in the past week, Kevin Feige was doing press for the Loki series in the upcoming Marvel Phase 4 movies, and did this unusually long interview where he talked about literally everything in the future of the MCU, including Spider-Man and Venom. I cut this down a little bit just to make it a little bit shorter, but this is him talking about Spider-Man No Way Home and then Venom in the MCU.
We got to make two great Spider-Man movies with Amy Pascal and John Watts and Tom Rothman and Tom Holland, and I was very proud of that and very happy at that. Of course, wanted it to continue. Luckily, Tom Rothman and Bob Iger and Alan Horn and Alan Bergman and Tom Holland himself all realized, wouldn't it just be more fun if we just kept doing it? Let's not get business or politics in the way. Because the deal always started with Amy Pascal and I having nothing to do with numbers or contracts or politics. It had to do with story and a love of Spider-Man and Peter Parker and the Marvel Universe. And it thankfully has continued like that. And that's where we find ourselves now.
Michael Morbius. Got tired of doing the whole good guy thing, huh?
What's up, Doc?
As it relates to any characters that Marvel Studios hasn't brought to the screen yet, having been at Marvel for 20 years, I wouldn't dismiss anything, or I wouldn't rule anything out. When and how and where remains to be seen. It could be, any rumor that you read online could happen anytime between tomorrow and never.
If you wonder what's going on with the hat that he's wearing during that's a Hawkeye hat, just to tease the Hawkeye series that's going to be like the next big Marvel Disney Plus live action series after the Marvel What If series that's coming up. You can usually guess what project he's working on based on the hat that he's currently wearing. The fun thing about listening to him talk about all that stuff is that he's trying to be this verbal ninja and not give away mega spoilers for their exact plans for handling Venom inside the MCU when they start crossing Spider-Man over between movies. But there's also a much longer clip with him talking about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and what's going on with him working on Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It's not completely relevant for what's happening between Spider-Man and Venom, but it is cool to listen to him talk about Sam Raimi coming full circle. Kevin Feige also was an executive working on those original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, so that's what he means when he says things have come full circle. To say nothing of all those rumors of the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield cameo scenes in No Way Home. But also a little while ago, there was a larger interview about Spider-Man, Venom,
Right.
Sinister Six big movie plans that a top-level Sony executive did a
Right,
little while
right,
after
right.
the last big Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer was released. The way he talked about it, Spider-Man No Way Home in the MCU would explain a lot of people's questions for how the future of the Sony Spider-Man movies and the MCU
Right.
Spider-Man movies would all start blending together with all the
Okay.
Sinister Six movies, even with the
Okay,
Venom
okay.
characters. So it sounds like right now, with the current crop of movies that we have, like Venom Let There Be Carnage, Andy Serkis, the director, explained that during the movie, there are a lot of very obvious Spider-Man references, like the biggest in the trailer that we've seen are the Daily Bugle newspaper that Patrick Mulligan is reading. Eddie Brock reading the Daily Bugle website. It's not just that we're getting the Daily Bugle, which is a cool Easter egg for J. Jonah Jameson. It sounds like there's going to be another cameo from him during the movie, but it's also the same Daily Bugle logo from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. This character, Patrick Mulligan, is also the host of the Toxin symbiote in the comics. There's the scene of Cletus Cassidy smashing the spider when he's using his own blood to write the notes to Eddie. Those are the notes that you see him reading at the beginning of the trailer with the Venom symbiote cooking him breakfast, making that huge mess. But after that last big trailer came out, Andy Serkis said, and I don't think that he's lying or anything, that during the events of the movie, at least the main part of the movie, all these characters, Venom, Carnage, Mulligan, are not aware of the existence of a Spider-Man. Now, he didn't say that Spider-Man doesn't exist inside the universe where the Venom movies are taking place, because
Right, right.
Morbius is a direct spin-off of Venom, and there's a very notable Spider-Man costume inside the Morbius trailer, so clearly there's a Spider-Man inside this universe.
Right.
Now, it's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man costume that they're using here, but there's a lot of reasons why they could be using that particular costume. We also have Michael Keaton's Vulture, the same Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming, showing
Right,
up
right.
during that movie. Then that same Sony
Right,
executive
right,
who
right.
was talking about how Spider-Man No Way Home is going to completely answer how all this crazy multiverse stuff is going to work and how they're going to cross these characters over, also said that Venom Let There Be Carnage was going to be so good you would not miss Spider-Man. So along with what Andy Serkis said, it sounds like just right now, Tom Holland will not show up in Venom 2 in a big way. They'll just have lots of Spider-Man references and Easter eggs. Then in the Morbius movie, there's a little bit more legit blending of Spider-Man references from the MCU. Then when we get to Spider-Man No Way Home, then they'll use a lot of these big twists from the Loki finale with the craziness of this multiverse Kang war that's happening to explain how all these different characters from all these disparate franchises of Spider-Man movies are coming together. And that also tangentially will eventually include the Venom character, just not so much in Spider-Man No Way Home. Think about it this way,
Right,
Kang's
right.
all-out multiverse war that he was explaining in the Loki finale. During the war, as all the
Loki
Kang
finale.
variants were battling each other, they were trying to destroy all the other variants' universes. There was a rumor that the title, Spider-Man No Way Home, was a reference to the Spider-Man villains that show up during that, like Dr. Octopus from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies,
Right,
Electro
right.
from the Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield movies. They're stuck on Earth, and they have no way home. That makes a little more sense as the universes that they came from have been deleted. They literally cannot go home. But just for reference, as far as I know, Kang is not supposed to be a big character during Spider-Man No Way Home or during Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. It's just that they're in the middle of the Kang multiverse war when these movies are playing out. So at least for right now, it just sounds like their plan is to use those tears in reality across the multiverse universes being deleted to allow
Right.
Sony Spider-Man characters to cross over into the MCU. And that will
Oh,
eventually
okay.
include the Venom character at some point. The way Kevin Feige talks about it, though, they don't have a timeline for that yet. They just know that at some point they'll probably allow that to happen. But loose plan right now, it sounds like the actual Spider-Man Venom crossover movie will be something that Sony does after the next Venom movie and after Spider-Man No Way Home. And when that happens, they'll also have some small way of canonizing Venom to the MCU. But it sounds like bare minimum, that movie would be like 2-3 years away. So hopefully that explains a little bit about their loose plan to capitalize on all the chaos with this multiverse war that happened on Loki. But everyone, let me know in the comments, how do you think they're going to use what happened on Loki to explain all the Sony Spider-Man characters crossing over into the MCU? And as far as the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, it sounds like Sony plans on releasing that sometime before the end of the summer. So sometime in the next couple of months. Of course, I will do all the Spider-Man trailer videos the minute they release that. I will be doing videos for Marvel's What If series. Those episodes are going to start in a couple weeks, so make sure you have alerts enabled so you don't miss any of those. Everyone click here for my brand new Loki Season 2 teaser and all those Kang deleted scenes, and click here for that first look at all the brand new Spider-Man suits in Spider-Man No Way Home. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.
Let me know what you think of my reaction down below, Killer Squad. Peace.